Go black to Africa. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all. I hope that your day is as blessed as mine is. I am chilling on my way over to the Asia side of the world, hunting for our lost souls who are out here, who were scattered from the Arabs' slave trade that lasted almost 14 centuries. We're going to be creeping into Vietnam. We're going to be creeping into Thailand, Ser- Malaysia, as well as Singapore. I'm going to be on the hunt for the brothers and sisters who were actually sent over all of those years ago. I'm actually in Oman right now. Do many of you all know, check the history out, that in Oman, the Sultan had conquered Zanzibar or Tanzania, and they enslaved those interior Africans that we call the chosen or the children of Israel, who were taken from the interior of Africa, which we would probably be known today as the Congo area, all the way over to as far as close to the eastern shore, or excuse me, the western shore of Africa, and brought over in through the Arab slave trade, sent all the way over to many countries. Oman has a lot of uh, Tanzanians, if you will, or I like to say, the lost sheep of the children of Israel. And I'm going to come back to Oman so that I can reach out to many of the people who are here and see where they do they even know their story. But if many of those, to keep it short, because this is not even not about my topic, but I'm just letting y'all know I'm on my travels, and I'm stepping in to the Asian side of the world, where we can go black to Africa and see how far she extends to the people there today. Peace and blessing to you all. I see y'all coming in, and I hope your day is as beautiful and blessed as mine is. Now, saying all that, I want y'all just to go ahead and just do a quick check to see how the Sultans control Tanzania and how really why it's 90% Arab. I mean, excuse me, 90% Muslims. The president, Mama Samia, is a Muslim. And, I have got to talk and sit down with many people that are there in Tanzania who are Muslims, and many of them don't know how they became Muslims. They thought or think their history is based upon what they were told and taught in their schools, and many of them have uh, a very few little knowledge of really what has transpired in their country. I have no issues with those who are on the Islam faith. The only thing I say is that Islam is our brother who happens to be on the Ishmael side of the house. The Prophet Muhammad was sent for the Arabs. Peace be unto him. But we, who are the children of Israel, are on the Israel side. So Ishmael is our brother, and we, which so much information's out here to prove the fact by those who or those who came in and enslaved, have their history books, have their diaries, have their notes and their commentaries showing who we were sent out, where the Arabs came in the east side of Africa to scatter African select people aside out abroad, whether it was Afghanistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, whether it was India, Sri Lanka, as far as even China. Africans were sold into slavery. For those who don't even know, which is the truth of the matter, Mecca was one of the largest trading posts of African slaves. Mecca is the the holy place where a Muslim will take their Hajj over. No disrespect to them, but that is the history for many of our people who don't know that it was a huge slave market. And I challenge any person who disagree to do their research and find this history out. Now, my title of this right here is you know I have to rethink and apologize for some things in this journey of Africa. Let me say this right here. Shout out to many of my brothers and sisters who have come over to the motherland, who have established themselves in business, in residence, and citizenship. You know, man, I tell you, it is a beautiful thing to see our brothers and sisters who have done such, overcome a feat, overcome adversities, overcome obstacles and potholes in their journey along life to seek a place beyond where they were coming from a Western world. But I'm gonna say this too, that even to my uneducated background of 7 years ago coming to Africa, there were many things that I believed that was not true. You know, the family network. I thought the family network was really tighter than what it actually is. Not to say that it's non existent, but I would tell you it's a different type of family network when it comes to what I thought that the man, woman, and child would be in close proximity as a unit. And I find that not to be the case. That doesn't mean that there is a dysfunction in the family network. No, not at all. No, no. It actually works out in a different way for the betterment, in a sense, where we are accustomed to living in close proximity as man, woman, and child. It is not that way for the most part here in Africa. I've been to African countries. I'll be hitting my 34th country here in another month, hopefully knocking out Cameroon and also knocking out Nigeria. We're going to see on that. Eritrean American. Thank you very much, Acorn City. Yes, Eritrea. I got a brother right now from Eritrea that's trying to connect me with some locals so we can delve into their biblical scripture, ancient writings. Europeans call it a Bible, but I'm going to be delving in there and I'm going to compare because theirs was written in Giza and they have the first of the original text of their holy scriptures that the Europeans came, copied, transferred, transmitted, translated, transliterated, whatever words you want to use. And yet we die by the words on the paper as though it's fact and that is an inspired word of God. So I'm going to delve into that. I'm going to rip that Bible apart because the names that are there are not true. God is not a name given by that we hold as a name. God has no meaning. It's a European concept. It's been given by the European. We know in a Hebraic tongue we would say Elohim. We know Jesus is a created name. It's a European construct, and it has no meaning. Though they try to say it does not have no meaning to those who are using it. Let me give you all just a bit. This is gonna save. That's what Yeshua means. Save you from your enemies while on earth. Christianity says, Jesus come to save you from hell. No, he come to save you from this crazy world, from your stinking thinking, save you from the government, save you from the religion. This is what Yeshua did. The created Jesus was a construct, it was a mindset of a European that they call on to go control a world. This is why they can name slave boats Jesus. They can name the fort Jesus. They can name God a God. If in scriptures that the Most High said that we as a people who were the original, the ones that were chosen, would be scattered, sent on ships across the globe, it is amazing when you see it has unfolded. How in the world, when you look at history and you say, hold up, well, who are these people? How are the people there in a certain region of this world that they created in 1948, call it Israel, and they say they're the people, but they haven't been scattered to the four corners of the earth? But when you look at history and see that they came into Africa, the Arabs came to take from the center and the north of Africa and the east of Africa and scattered us all the way over to the forest to the east. The Europeans came and did the same on the west and scattered us over to the Americas. Isn't that interesting? That holds validity in some of the words that have been written as for us to acknowledge the fact that we are a people who walked away from Elohim. Some got other names, and the power of the Most High, which is a spiritual entity, something that we can't fathom, something that we can't even come, we only know that much of. Even using those European construct names already know your heart anyway. So it's not like you stand in error. But if we grow to understand that words have meaning, then we should all begin to use the words so that when we recite, regurgitate, speak out, or pray, or words have an effect. So then that when you call on a name, any man who believes in in my name, on my name, that means the meaning of it, you shall be saved because that's what it means. Let me get back to the topic at the matter at hand. Let me give some more shout outs to, I want to give a shout out to my brother and sister in the Gambia, Rick and SGM. I can't call another man sweet juicy mama, but that's his calling. But I think Cynthia, I think her name is. But you know what? A brother and sister who came into the motherland, and I got to watch their growth. I got to watch their ups and downs. I got to watch their trials and tribulations. They've been scammed, they have been robbed, they have been taken advantage of, and they kept it moving. A people who have a zeal to continue to go. Not everything I agree with them in their perspective or their outlook, but what I can say is that it doesn't matter as long as we can understand that they are on a journey, that I see that they are winning. I haven't watched a lot of their videos in quite a while because I'm busy scheduling things. But shout out to the Bag family there in Gambia. A couple of their videos, they're still moving forward with their gardening, their farm, their land, their family. They are, I see that they even did a video of some of their children going back to America. It's all good though. Hey, the children have to learn too. Nobody has walked in our shoes, haven't walked in my shoes. Many people haven't experienced what we have gone through. So it doesn't matter. But to the Bag family, y'all check them out if you don't know who they are, over in the Gambia, doing some things. And I believe the Most High is definitely working, dealing, and also playing a part in their journey. Um, you know, Africa has taught me a lot, where I used to say that Africa is, you know, the pinnacle or the place that might be an example for where we as a people should stand. That's not necessarily true. I had to learn. I had to learn. I had to learn that it even has its problems, its issues. I've said this before, and people, I know everybody's on their own walk of life. Everybody has their own beliefs. They have their own views or opinions, and most got them from somebody else. But people, I've seen a, a multitude of different beliefs in Africa religiously. And, there are many names people associate with it, African spirituality, voodoo, ancestral spirituality, and all these things here. You know, I can see why Africa is in the state that it's in. It stands for nothing. There's no unity in where it stands. It's actually, uh, you know, when I say stands for nothing, we're talking about it comes a day. I had to learn this I had to learn this in my early 40s. I'm 57 now, I'm about to be 58 in a few months. I had to learn this. God doggone it, if I'm believing in something and I see no results in it, wake up and realize that I might be going down the wrong road. Let's be real. Let's be adult here. Let's have some serious thought processes. If you keep bumping your head, you keep having this trials and tribulations over and over again, something should wake you up and say, I got to make a change. I got to have a different mindset. When I came into Africa, I've been growing 7 years. And there's some things that I'm like, Africa definitely ain't perfect, and Africa got a lot of growth. Africa still has, we're talking 1.5 billion people with thousands of different tribes and thousands of different languages have evolved into all of this, what we see, with little to no success. Somebody should wake up and say, we doing something wrong. Now, I'm not going to ridicule. I mean, hey, every man for himself. But I do notice and take notice when things in my life, when I had to grow and realize that my system, my views, my opinions, if I saw there was no results, if I didn't see it was fruitful, if I didn't see there was no gains, if I didn't see it was getting nowhere for me, I had to do a self-assessment and say, what the heck are you following, believing in? You got to reassess and come to a total different outcome. Thank goodness, as my life has progressed, I'm able to walk in more of a light than what I did back then. I don't believe there we could ever get to absolute truth. I believe we can walk in truth and continue to walk and get clarity in life. That's the beautiful thing of life. And this is why I will never hold charge to where people stand, whether they're religiously, whether it's them um, whether they're holding true to their nationality, the politically, because all these things we hold homage to. We give all of our energy, sweat, blood, guts, and tears into political aspects, national aspects, tribal aspects, and yet I see people suffer, suffer, suffer greater beyond than just a normal life of living. And I'm like, it's time to make a change. It's time to make a change. And if you're not really willing to make a change, well, then just continue on in your life. But don't complain and point fingers. The white man's not doing it. The China man's not doing it. The Lebanese man's not doing it. The Arab man's not doing it. They may have done something. They may have done it. But it comes a time that there is a power greater than what they have intent to do or had intentions to do. There comes a time when you have to rise and say, man, for what I stand for, it's more powerful than what these jokers have done. You see, you can only be taken advantage of if you are powerless. You know, this is what I'm going to tell y'all this right here. Most people fall victim to those who have power only by money. That's it. This is how people gain power, is by money. As I'm sitting here in the UAE, right, over in Mon, right, they got a lavish, I've lived in Saudi Arabia, I lived in Kuwait, I've been to Oman, I've been to a lot of Muslim countries, and their oil brings them money, which brings them power. No different than the Europeans. The gun got them the power. The Arab sword got them some power. Money, creates weapons, which creates jobs, which pay people to go fight. You get land, you get people to work, become slaves and workers and all this stuff. But there's something more greater than that. That is a belief system that there is a entity beyond this life. What does that mean? When you come to understand that, you're not afraid to die. Nobody can control you. Nobody can control you when you're not afraid to die. Shoot me, cut my head off. So be it. What? You know, to die is to gain. And I never understood that in scrolls in the scriptures, ancient writings. I never understood that. If you're not willing to die for something, you've never lived. Now, hold up, Go Black. I know what do you mean by that? Let me break this down to you all. Man, Acorn, hey, I appreciate you. Yes, I appreciate you. Let me break this down to you all. There are many people who will never live their life because of fear. You are so afraid what people think, what people's gonna do. You know, me doing this YouTube, right? And I have offended people. I have received death threats. I walk in these airports, some people see me, they approach me like, hey, you the guy to do this. I disagree with you, this and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. I really didn't like what you said, this and that, this and that. That. You know, I can't walk in fear. If you walk in, look, how do they shackle and put chains on your neck and put you on a boat? It's either you have a desire to live or not. You know, I was hit with this question in a spirit one day. Was our ancestors cowards or were they heroes? Well, it all depends on how you look at it. Were you afraid to die that you stayed in slavery? And those who died without wanting to become slavery, were they heroes? Which ones are we? Well, it all depends on the perspective because I'm not calling anyone anything. All I'm saying is the fact that there are those who can go and instill fear on you. They can push fear on you by death threats, by putting threats against your family members, by holding you hostage, by torturing you, by enslaving you. Isn't this true? And all race of people have done it across the globe, enslaved one another. The question of it is that how much are I've heard this before. You know, you talk to brothers and sisters in America. Oh man, if it was me, man, back then, I would never become a slave. And then the joke was, as soon as that whip would pick that bale of cotton, Negro. Yes, sir. Because, you know, nobody knows how they'll react when pain is instilled on this flesh. But I learned a lot that the depravity of Africa stems from the people, not the outside, their own. To this day, Africa is deprived from its own ignorance. Its own ignorance. It's rather for outside sources to come in and do business or behave in certain fashions to tell them how to operate and control than for them to have that power themselves. This is why democracy is really a a lie. It's a bamboozle tool used to have a people believe that a system can save you. And so then the democracy only means that if America can spread her wings over her little children, these little nations, and have control over their governments, then you have puppets. That means you can plant money in their pockets and have them behave in fashions to deprive their country. There are people who will sell out their own countries or their people, you know, and this is just how evil is. But when I come across and I'm here, I've been, like I said, I lived in Arab countries. It's amazing that they have their own religion, they have their own sources, which is oil, and they've built beautiful nations. You know, many have built beautiful nations. I mean, cities and countries, and have the wealth. Many of them, they and look, and they don't even work. They go, we got the money. We'll let people come in from other countries to work. We'll have third nationals come in and work. But when you look at Africa, you see that why can't Africa do the same? You know, this is an old topic. It's regurgitated conversation that's been going on for years. I'm tired of the conversation, really. You know, I'm really tired of the conversation. I'm anxious to get over to these Asian countries, see how they doing it. I've already lived in Europe before, lived in America before, been to Canada, been to all of these European countries, been to the Arab countries. Now I'm going on the Asian side. My wife says I've been to Asia because I lived in Turkey. I lived in Turkey for a year. I've been around the globe, but the Asian countries, I want to see how the Asian man doing it now, how their government's doing it. Because the only country, there's people who suffer in poverty no matter where you go. And I know it's everywhere. I've seen the videos, but I'm going to be on the ground and I want to really just kind of see the differences. So the rethinking of Africa, you know, people didn't like the video I did when I talked about the hell with Pan-Africanism because we're too separated in our own stinking thing. We can't even come in unity in spirit. We can't. You believe in that type of religion, they believe over in that type of religion. You believe in that God, he believe in that God, and have nothing to stand on as a basis, as a moral compass, or an ethical way of doing business. If you can't stand on that, you have no unity, and that's just how it is. But what I find interesting, though, that you're going to have the Arab nations still try to support each other into some form of fashion, to some capacity. They're supporting each other. Not to say that they're all like great buddy friends, but they know they're brothers. They do know that. And there's one distinction that they do have likeness in. Not, there's not one- there's one likeness rather that they do have in unity, and that's Allah. That's the Quran. We, on the other hand, have thousands of different religions. We don't stand on one, the Most High. We don't stand. There's too many of them. Too many. You know, you. I've said this before. You know, because me and my wife, we got our place. One of our places are in Tanzania, and it's 90% Muslims. I enjoy. I don't care what people say about. You can talk about Muslims all day long. I don't care. I enjoy being in the atmosphere of Muslims than a Christian atmosphere. Do you know why? At least on the surface, and I'm going to say the surface, y'all, because look, Muslims ain't perfect. I've met those who are crooked, who drink, who have sex, who do everything against the Quran. I'm not saying all, but what I'm saying is on the surface, in the streets, in the public's eye, they're not going to allow what Christianity has evolved and turned into because of a small minority of evil, wicked people. Christianity stands for nothing. And it's the European concept. We shouldn't be standing on Christianity if you really look at the fact of what it stands for, the names it used, the translations. It removed us from the true, living, most high and what we stand on, righteousness. That's why I say I enjoy that. People can ridicule, Muslims all day long, But I can tell you this right here, the mess that we have to go through, you don't find it on the streets. You're not going to see it. And there's a sense of peace and liberty that I'm enjoying being in the community of Muslims. As I said before, Muslims is our brother. They from the Ishmael side. They know that at least. They at least know the side they come from. Scripture. We don't even know we come from the Israel side and how we supposed to stand. But when I go into uh, more of the African countries, of course, we're a lost people because we've taken on many habits. Look at us in America, just in the short amount of time that we stand, just in the matter of 20 years, look how the people as a whole evolved in. Look what we've taken on. Look at the image we portray. Look at our belief systems. Look what we agree to. Look what we socialize with. Look what we have ordained. Look what we have ushered in. Look at our children. Our children look. I, I know some people going to get offended, but I'm talking about my children too. Our children have evolved into unthinkable creatures beyond than what was supposed to be. When you think about that, let me say this right here. Because I'm gonna respond. I know sometimes people come into my channel. People on those want to know why I don't have moderators. I only have moderators because you moderate yourself. You can ignore ignorance, and sometimes I will respond to those who come in and want to have their opinions, their views, and tell people, you're crazy. You believe in this. You believe in that. This and that. It comes a time in a day when we have to stand still in our quiet place and ask ourselves some serious questions. Some people don't believe in the Most High, don't believe there's a power or entity or God, if you will. There's some people who just don't believe that. They don't believe in the scriptures and ancient writings and stuff like that. And it's like, nobody said it was absolute truth, ancient right? Not me. Because I know when somebody touches it, it's not absolute. The question of the matter, though, is let's just start from the beginning. Who created the earth? Who created the universe? I'd rather for a person to say, I don't know, than to say, no, they're nothing. There's no God. Well, I understand why you say that because I don't believe in God. That's a European made up word. And when you watch people who say that there is, and you say, "Oh my gosh," like that, you realize, yo, nah, I'm not following that. No, I'm not following that God. No way. They're absolutely right. There ain't no God. There isn't. Not when it came from them, but there is the Most High. There is a Creator. We do know that. And that's by the natural things we see with our eye, not the things man built, but the things that we see outside of us in our universe, on the earth we stand on. Nobody, no man can take credit for that, and no man got to answer. No man got to answer on how was it actually created. We can go by what was written or what was presented, but even then, we still don't even have a clue. But I rather by the energy that is in me, the power that is in me, that not in October the 7th, 1992, when I had when I had an encounter with this spirit of peace, nobody can convince me there isn't. But what I will say is that, you know, somebody said they're a proud atheist, and so be it. Because you know what? I tell people this right here, because this is what I heard in my spirit years ago. I'll never forget this. I had a conversation with a man who was atheist, and I was taking him down. I was in the military at the time, And I had to take him down to correctional custody. And in the military, when you get in trouble and the commander believes he can rehabilitate you, they'll send you for 30 days to be rehabilitated. Basically, basic training all over again in 30 days. And this young man, I was just trying to tell him, you need to change your life, man. The road you're on is in darkness. I used to be there. He asked me this serious question. He said, Sarge, I know you're talking about this entity, this God and all, but what if you're wrong? I said, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. What if I am wrong? I said, but what do you say? He says, I don't believe in none of that. I said, you believe in what? I believe, he said, I believe when I die, that's it. I said, where did you get that belief? He said, that's just what I believe. I said, of course, okay. I said, and I have a belief. I believe that in this universe that we do know is energy, there's a power, there's a source of what we see in the star, the moon, the sun that blares every day. We see the flowers, the animals. That's life. That's energy. We do know that's called life. I believe, this is what I told him. I believe that in this shell that I live in is that power energy. And it goes on beyond than just sitting here and die and go back to the ground, what we say that, you go die in. And I said this to him right here. I said, you believe if you die, that's it. I believe when you die, your spirit goes on. So I said, what if you are right? What do I lose? He said, nothing. That's exactly nothing. If you're right, I die and that's just it. But let me ask you this question. What if I'm right? What if there is one? I asked him, I said, what happens to you now? What if there is the Most High, the Creator, the Judge of righteousness? What if there is one? You see, I win either way, but you lose. Do you know that young man? When I said that to him, he remained quiet for probably that was a 7-hour drive. That was from Delaware, it's a little longer, I think, from Delaware down to Camp, Camp Lejeune down in North Carolina. He remained quiet for about 4 or 5 hours. And he chewed on that. That dude, I had to go pick him up after 30 days. I had to go back down there and pick him up out of correctional custody. Do you know that same guy had his life changed? That same guy did. He came to me, he said he wanted to know more. I said, what brought on the change? He said, the 30 days, I really had to think about this whole thing. Now, like I said, you know, our views, our opinions, our belief systems basically stem from other people, and we've never taken time to really come up with our own. We really haven't. When you really think about how you live your life, you haven't lived your life. You've lived your life for others. Really. From your tattoos to the color of your hair to who you associate with. You Democrat, you Republican. You want to be Crip or Blood? Do you want to be gay? Do you want to be trans? Do you want to be it goes on. Whoever you became, fraternity, sorority, what lodge, you Mason, are you this or that? All these labels and titles you got from somebody else that introduced you to it. Your belief system, your views, believe me, I had to have this awakening years ago. All that crap that I thought I was, somebody told me. They created me by the world that I live in. I associated myself with it, and I was nothing but just one weak young man running around here, following the suit of the masses, thinking that I am something. When I found out that I was no thing, nothing for y'all. You slow it down, you become no thing. You see, there is no thing that I am, but the world wants you to be associated with a thing. Why? Because as long as you can identify with something, you lose power. You become powerless when you become associated with an entity of what I just named. Think about it. You will always have a rulership ahead over you in a capacity which they will dictate, they will control, they will go ahead and have you pay fees. You will have to pay, give homage and honor and bow down and all that. When in spiritual sense, you could do that to the greater creator and will give you the power to navigate through the bullshit that we live through. Test it, I guarantee you. Test it, I guarantee you. You're gonna see something different. Guarantee you. You know, this old man right here, look, I've been through a lot. And I know a lot of y'all young ones have not. And I know you're going through some things. Even y'all older ones. I know I got a lot of older folks who watch my channel. And they walking life out too. And realizing, man, you know what? There's some gold nuggets that we can all learn from each other, no matter the age. So in Africa, I've learned a lot. You know, I was talking to one of my sisters in Ghana. She gave me a call, got scammed, taken advantage of. I won't mention her name. Um, but, you know, scams go on everywhere. People lose house and lands in America. People get, you know, our lands were stolen and people who take advantage of and where they're getting, you know, fired from a job, passed over for promotions, all kinds of the world. As long as man is involved, this is just how it is. This is just how it is. But in saying that, in saying that, I know for a fact there is an entity that I live by because it's all life ain't nothing but a guessing game when you don't have no light to shine on a path that you need to walk. Don't have a clue. What direction should I go? You don't have a clue. You think you do because they told you were smart. Yeah, I know my degree. I used to lean on my degree. I used to think that I thought I knew. You know, college don't teach you about life. It don't teach you how to be a man or a woman. It don't teach you how to be a husband or father. It don't teach you how to be a mother, a wife or a mother. It don't teach you how to come up against life issues. It don't teach you how to deal with adversities. It don't teach you none of that. You see, many people can read man's books, and that's their God. Many people can follow self-help books, and that's what they lead by. But as soon as you say there's a spirit that you can follow, oh, everybody figure, oh, the heck with all that. They're reading out of that Bible there, that book there, but everything's about them is about a book. Everything. You've been indoctrinated, you've been taught, you've been trained how to think, not for life, only for material. And what's the material? Education, but not spiritually. Even these churches jack that up. All these religions jack it up in a sense because it's man who's over it. But you know what? There is an entity, a spiritual entity that easily can guide us. I tell you that right now. But what do? We jack it up. Soon as we think we heard something, we broadcast it to the world and want a following. Then we give ourselves titles. I'm such and such guru. I'm I'm prophetess. I'm pastor bishop. I am the witch doctor. I am the the divine spiritual guide. I'm the shaman. We give ourselves these titles and everybody think that this person is real and got something for you. I watch these jokers, they grow beards, they put on makeups or outfits, and you think that there's something because they put the name on top of it. It means nothing. And when I travel around, and here in Africa, well, I say here, and I'm in Oman right now, UAE, but in Africa, man, I tell you, it's a beautiful place to be, but it's new. But very few people have a clue. So what I'm saying though is that I had to rethink some things. Shout out to my brothers and sisters there in Tanzania. I'm gonna give them a shout out there. I'm gonna give a shout out to um, my brother Jermaine. Him and his wife, his family's over there. Got his business, built his house, doing great things there. Um, Mark and his family, his young sons, the young men he have, his wife and them. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Maxes, and shout out to you know um, the Troy and his wife and family. Shout out to Tanzania, the brothers and sisters there. Shout out to T3 and me that's out there. Shout out to, I know I'm going to forget people. I'll forget people, but I want to really shout out to the families out there with the husband and wives and the children. These people are out here doing it. Um, I mean, I can give shout out to my brothers and sisters in Ghana. Shout out to my main man um, out there, David. He's out there. Shout out to my brothers out there, who the Hebrew Israelites are out there. Beautiful families that they have out there. Shout out to my man Duncan, um, him and his family. I got so many shout outs, and really, I know there are gonna be those. He didn't. Well, that's okay. But many people are doing it. Shout out to y'all that's in the Western world, who's trying to make do in situations that may be overcoming you. Those who's trying to keep strength and faith in the Most High. Shout out to y'all, because that spirit out there is heavy. It's heavy. It's trying to overtake our children. It's overtaking it's overtaking the airways and the the movies or the TVs or the radios. It's overtaken, and I'm watching the spirit of our people slowly dying. I'm watching the murder rates of men killing wives and wives killing husbands and children killing parents. I'm watching this, and I'm like, people, y'all can't even see it. Y'all are smoke, the cloud, y'all are in the illusion. It's hard to see. You become numb because all you've become is callous to a situation that it means nothing. When you hear a man killed his wife and four children, a woman killed her five babies or three children, or her boyfriend or girl, you become so callous that you don't see what's happening until you remove yourself, until you get in a different society. I had just in the last week 2 Africans who were like, man, why did the people killing each other over there? It's the spirit and hearts of the it's the heartbeat of America. It's what America's about. It promotes violent movies, violent games. It promotes violent music, everything, and the people become it. That's why. And guess what? It will happen in Africa too. If you invite that spirit in, it will come in and it will change the children's mindsets and they will misbehave. You find it ironic that in America, the African Americans there, they shooting and killing each other. But in England, in the UK, the black folks there are stabbing and killing each other because they ain't got access to guns. Isn't that something? How is it where we go when embrace we embrace hip hop, we embrace certain lifestyles, that we turn around and kill each other? Isn't that interesting? You don't see the spirit, you don't see how this whole thing has transformed us into being. I mean, it is what it is. But until you can come into an atmosphere, and that's why I'm having my tour, because it's going to be a spiritual awakening, insightfulness. It's not going to be a sightseeing tour. It will be an insight tour. One to be able to look within, not just self, but even the locals. We're going to be on the beaches. We're going to be in the wilderness. We're going to be in the village. We're going to be talking. We're going to be observing. We're going to be watching what's going on within us and outside of us. This is going to be a spiritual journey. This ain't going to be just going up and saying, I went to go visit Africa just to go see sightsees. You know what's so funny? Me and my wife was out, we was eating right there in Zanzibar. And when we was eating, we saw this huge, big old bus. It's like a Greyhound bus, right? And it had Europeans on it. And they had the, it was funny. It hit me and my wife at the same time. They were on the bus driving by, taking pictures. And I told my wife, I said, babe, did you see them on the bus? She said, yeah. And I said, how did that make you feel? She said, like I was in a zoo, like we were some type of animal, and they were in their protected cavity of a bus, filming and taking pictures, and they will never get off the bus or out of the resorts. Me and my wife went to this hotel, Grand Hotel over in Zanzibar, first time going, and we had breakfast there, and it had all the Europeans there, and they got a pool there, and they were all about the poolside, and they were just relaxing and just chilling out, getting their tans and stuff, and it's like you don't see them in the villages. You don't see them walking on the streets. What they do is they come from Europe to Africa to go on their vacations, like many of you all do, when they tell y'all to, go down to the central islands and stuff like that. And you stay on a resort, and these people exhale for 2 months. I mean, excuse me, 2 weeks, and say they had a vacation. Never, ever got to mingle with the locals, see what the heartbeat, the breath of the people are, to be able to interact and learn, to be able to expose yourself to smell and touch and feel, to be able to have your spirit ripped apart when you get to see that the Most High is doing something differently. What is the spirit of the people? What they do is on these tours, they take you and keep you in safe havens. They keep you in these boxes, on these resorts, in the buses, and drive you through. And like you go to a zoo and the animals just sitting there and the lion's just like, oh boy, oh, time to get up, y'all. Let me stretch. Come on. Oh, okay, these people are here to take some pictures. Okay, wake up. Let's put on a show. Let me go ahead and do a roar. Elephants come. Oh gosh. Okay, here come the people again. Here come the tourists. This is how it is. This is how they put you. But see, the tour I'm going to do is a spiritual awakening tour, because I know our people need to be broken up, being able to see themselves in a different light. Because without it, you're only one track minded into the life that you live, based upon how you was raised in your environment, and miss out on a whole complete world ready to rip you open and say, my gosh, my belief system, I walked with this for so many years, and dang, I thought that was the truth. And look over here across the street, over in this other country. These jokers are doing the opposite, and I thought that was the only way. It will blow your mind. And so I'm anxious to get over here to Asia to see, hey, what's going on over there? What's the Most High doing over here, y'all? Tell me the spirits over here. What's good? You know, because if we're not willing to challenge ourselves, like I'm saying, Africa opened my mind up, and it continues to open my mind up. But Africa ain't perfect. And boy, I tell you what, if you come in with the open spirit, not being judgmental, because I'm gonna tell you what many people do. Oh, look at them. Yeah, man, I want to go ahead, man, and help somebody. Here you go. Oh, look at the people. They need some help. You want to give them money like you came and did something. Oh, we need to come and bring businesses to help Africa. You see, that right there is a spirit of pride, that you think Africa needs your help. You think because these people have less than you that they really need your help. These people don't need your help. Africa been around for tens of thousands of years. But what if you came with the spirit of being open and said, my gosh, These people are living with little to nothing and know how to survive. How are they doing this? I want to learn this. These people know how to navigate through what they're going through differently than I've ever thought about. That's what I have for y'all. So if y'all interested, I got people already who's responded, who want to be part of this insightful journey. I ain't calling no tour. This is an insightful spiritual journey for those who want to be relieved of childhood anguish or young adult anguish or older adult anguish. You've been walking around with pain and been unable to get rid of it. It's been a thorn in your side. Sometimes the thorns are good because it's a reminder. Believe me, I got a thorn in my side that I've walked with for all these years, and the Most High haven't taken it away because it's a reminder. It keeps me open, most definitely. Some things are there for there, but there are many things that we have some spiritual demons or we have some spiritual illnesses that need to be relieved. Most definitely. In order to be able to live the rest of your life in a better way. What good is it to live life, man, under pressure, pain, suffering, and being suppressed and oppressed and, depressed? And what good is that? Now, I know there are many out here who suffer from mental anguish brought on by horrific things done by family members, friends, strangers. Yeah. So, apologies. I want to apologize to every person that I have offended. And I'm going to say this right here. And when I say offended, I know I've stepped on many people's toes because of my journey of life or my belief system or my view. There's just some things I stand on. My channel's not for everybody, but my apologies, I say, is with it was not malice or of intent to hurt anybody. I know people have different religious backgrounds and different belief systems or opinions, but I'm going to speak what I believe is my truth. Ain't nobody can tell me what I walk with every day, who I submit to every day, which I see powerful results. I'm going to share with the world. Because many of you all, I've walked in y'all shoes in darkness. I've been in them streets. I've done my sins. I've done my evilness. I've done my wickedness. I've been there. And if I don't share with what I now have found that light to be, that it's changed my life, and my life, for the most part, it ain't excluded from life situations, but from consequences and circumstances from my own stinking thinking, oh, that there, I'm going to tell you, that light keeps me from going down those roads. Them stupid choices, those decision makings. Always entangling yourself into wicked and evil things. Oh, yes, I got tired of that mess. I got tired of that mess. And I can share that light with many people. And that's very simple. Submitting oneself. Submitting oneself to a greater authority. That's, to me, I'll tell you this right, that right there changes lives. Because when you realize you're really not in control, you're in control of decision stuff you make, but really in actuality, you're really not in the control that you think you are. We're really not. Really, we're not. And so with that, family, um, I'm going to go ahead and lend a question. Since I've been an hour now, I'm going to lend a question because I got about an hour, I guess, and a half until my flight takes off, I think. Let's see, question. Let's see some questions. Can you make it in Africa with African currency without the America money? Yeah. And, but you gotta be clear. You gotta clarify your question, because what you're saying, you said, can you make it? in Africa with African money, without American money. Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me show y'all something right here. Yesterday, I have an electrician that I use for my properties. Young man, brilliant young man. I'm talking, man, he's a young man, he's married, he's got a second child on the way. And I've been talking to him about business. He's been taken advantage by foreigners who come in. And I told him, and I shared this with many Africans. I said, people come into Africa to take advantage of you because you don't know your worth. You don't even know what you're worth. You don't even have a dollar value on your time. So the young man, he explained to me, Mr. Nikomi, he says, um, you come from Western world and y'all make the money and we here don't make a lot of money. And sometimes when people come, they're like, oh, that's too much. And then, we have to take the money. I said, no, you don't. You don't have to take anything. That's the problem is you all are afraid to walk away from money. He installed a stabilizer for me for my apartment. So I told him he charged me a certain amount. And I said, brother, this is what you charge to do this work? So I had a conversation with him. And I said, let's look at assessing what you do. You went to the university. You went to the university. You are an electrician. This guy knows electric. Matter of fact, the place I bought the stabilizer from, they sent the guy out to do a site visit to calculate all the wattages and everything like that to come up with a kVA for the volts. What what stabilizer size I would need. My man, the electrician, he turns around, had the conversation with an electrician there at the shop, this huge company, and argued with that guy and told him, no, you don't know the calculations. You didn't give him the right calculations. Man, he told him, yo, you got to do 0 point this, and that, multiply it by that, and then you have to divide that right there, and that's going to give you the equation. And then you got to, I said, God, dog, this is probably one of the most brilliant minds I've heard. And the other dude was going back at him too because he went to a university over in Dar. But guess who won? My electrician. I said, man, let me tell you something. Who is out here doing these electricity? He said, oh, these guys out here, they're not electricians. They ain't been to the schools. They don't know how to do the equations. They don't know the mathematical equations to do this right here and figure this out. I said, man, your price is too low. He said, but people always say, oh. I said, who? He said, oh, some of the Europeans, and then there are some of them who are the Arabs, and there are some of those who are from the... I said, brother, look, that's because they don't want to pay you. They think you are dumb. He said, how much do you think I should pay? I said, the company out here was going to charge me this amount of money to install it. This is what you ought to charge. Because I went to two companies. I said, this company was charging this one's charging that. This is what you ought to charge. Oh, they're going to tell me that's way too much. They're going to tell me. I said, listen to me, man. Listen to me. You gotta, if you don't, you gotta tell people, look, you are a professional. Okay, yeah, you don't like my price? That's okay, go to these local guys. And as soon as you'll be calling me back when your refrigerator burns out, when your AC burns out, when your stove burns out, because these guys don't even understand electricity. They only know how to put wire in a place, but they don't even know what core mean. They don't know the conversions of what wattage to voltage and voltage into kVAs. They don't know none of that. This is what he told me. I said, man, you are valuable. So there's a problem over the place that both places that I bought. There's two different locations on the island I bought. The whole island, Tanzania, period, electricity, it has a problem. It goes in and out. and the voltage is low. Well, one of my locations, the voltage is about 180. It's supposed to be 220. That's why I had to buy a stabilizer, because stabilizer is going to bring it to 220. It's going to keep it at 220. So people are jumping around because there's people who are burning out their refrigerators and all that because the influx of the voltage that's going in and out is tearing up their appliances. So I sent to the group. They got a group thing. And I said, I got an electrician right here who's going to do the job. Who can do the job for you? For those who want to come by my place and take a look, you can come by and see him install it, whatever. So I had two guys come over from Germany. They came over from Germany. They bought property over there and they came over by my place and they were looking. And so, this is funny. So the guy said, well, how much are you going to charge? So he told him the price. Now, this was by those people who come in, not just Europeans, but people who want to call him in for problems. And then he goes there and he tells them the problem. They go off and go get whatever and don't call him back to do the job. I said, brother, this is what you got to do. You do site visits, okay? You're going to charge this amount of money. For the total, you're going to charge this amount of money. So when they came to, two people came to my apartment and they wanted to look and see. So the guy asked him about, hey, how much you going to charge? He told him the price. So the guy says, you're going to charge me that much money just to come over to my place? I mean, it's the same place like this right here. So I looked at my man and he had this look like, oh no, he's not going to. So I looked at him. So I looked at him like, what you gonna say? I'm gonna see. He says, yes, that's what I charge. I charge that. He said, okay. So he left. So he didn't, I wanted to break open the mindset because, you know, I told my brother, I said, look, you have to understand something. You think the money walked away, but it didn't. Because as I explained to the guy that this is what he's doing. Just because you got a 2-bedroom apartment and I got a 2-bedroom apartment, they're the same, don't mean that they're the exact same thing. Don't mean the calculation is going to be the same because there are different machines in here. There's different, appliances and all that you put in is all different, this and that. Anyways, all right? Well, I might call whatever it is and this and that. He wound up calling within the 30 minutes, said, yeah, since he's here, go ahead, bring him over. Well, that second people that came through, boom, called him over. They wanted him to do a site visit as well. A third person called while we were leaving out that second place. He got to set up. He said, oh my gosh, brother, I am so proud of you and how you taught me. I said, my wife was there. My wife told him, said, you need to listen to him. This is what he do. He's a businessman. And I told him, I said, you cannot be afraid. You know what you're worth. You go do the job. You have confidence in yourself. You stand on your word. Because this man, he's on time. He's never been late. This guy's got a quality unseen in most Africans that I've seen being in the continent. This dude walked away doing, when we were there, he did 2 of the site visits. Going to go back and go do another one. I said, okay. And while we were at that second one, or the third one rather, when we got the call from the third one, I said, now look, they want you to come all the way back because he came there with me. You need to charge them for your transportation. Oh, yeah. You got to add that in on your invoice. You got to put all that stuff there. And they all agreed to pay him because what he's doing, everybody needs, and it's a good price. It's not like it's just expensive. He said, my brother, I am so proud of you that you teaching me. Nobody's ever I said, y'all are too afraid to lose money. There's nothing wrong with walking. All money's not good money. Hey, look, all jobs are not good jobs. If you understand that you have the power, it is you. This is to answer the brother's question. I know I went a long way around. Listen. It is you. I can go anywhere and make a currency from another country because of this. And I've done it. I've done it many of times. People got it on the flip side. Oh, America has more opportunity. America has more opportunity. No, you're the one who has you're the opportunity. Companies call you up. They want to see your resume. They need you. You're the opportunity for them to make more money. Until y'all understand that, you'll never know your worth. Why do you think I handle my wife's contracts? I own. I handle my wife's contracts. Why? Because she was used to going along with whatever was presented. And I'm like, no, you don't. You're a doctor for 30 years? No, you're not taking that. We're hitting them with a counter offer, and this is what we're submitting. Because I did my homework, I did an evaluation of not only her field, but the region, the area, and the years that she's got. This is what you're worth. They either can say yes or no. Some have said no, many have said yes. So it's like you get what you want if you're patient and you know what you're worth. The problem we have is that we've put ourselves in a bind that we gotta get the job right now. Why? You got this debt lingering over your shoulder. I gotta pay this debt. When you are debt free, man, look, I ain't gotta jump on any job. I ain't gotta jump on any job. But it's this, to answer my brother's question. It is this. I can go anywhere and use this. Why? People pay you for what you know. I got a consultation in about 6 more hours. And no, I don't. About 4 more hours. Don't know how I'm gonna do it. I hope they're watching because I'm be flying, but 15-minute consultation. Go to goblacktoafrica.com. 15-minute consultation, that's $125. 2 hours is $200. And that's not even what I'm worth. For those who've been following me knows, when I started out doing consulting, because I didn't want to do them, was $400 an hour. That's what I'm worth. That's worth my time. But I cut back on, I want y'all to get this right here. Listen to this. When I started my consultations, that first month, I made $7,000. The Most High is my witness, wouldn't lie. I decided, you know what? This is something a lot of people are wanting to travel and do. Out of my heart, I wanted to save some people some money. I dropped my price, half. Do you not know? Listen to this. The request plummeted. People stopped reaching out. It plummeted. The saying is true. Most people think there is value to something when the price is up and not valuable when the price is down. It's the most craziest thing that I can imagine. When I changed the price, the requests came to a screeching halt. But in that, there's a lesson. It's a lesson that, people have been indoctrinated to believe that the more expensive something is, the more valuable it is. And that's not the truth. It's only valuable if it applies to you. And I'm talking information, because information is more valuable than things. People think because you go buy a Gucci, you buy a Louis Vuitton, Ralph Lauren, where are they made? Most that we know are made in China. So if they're made in China, then the only difference is probably the quality maybe of material. But does it cost that much for the product? No, it's the name. So you pay for the name of the product. But is it valuable? No. It's only valuable to those who want it, and that's why the price is there. The demand. It's the demand. Is there a lot of people who's wanting this? Okay, let's raise the price. Now it's exclusive, meaning that it's only for a certain quality of people. To have you thinking it's for your people, quality people. People are people, but people are going to think it makes them something because they're wearing it, which is so far of the lie. That's why we stay broke. Information I rather pay for because depending on, I gotta clarify that too. I see more people selling seminars and information and things, and yet it's not producing much results. But what I'm saying is information, because it depends on the type of information that you're trying to use, you know, it can be very valuable to you. Like what I'm doing right now. I'm giving away free information. And if people ain't taking notes, kick it to the side. But for those who want to know that you are the one who's the opportunity, you're the one who should know how valuable you are. You should have a value on your time. You should have that. When I travel around, I know I kind of got off my topic, because my apologies to people. I've kind of ended that in a sense in my rethinking Africa. All of that you got to go back to the beginning and in the middle of the video. But I just wanted to end with this because there was a question that was asked, and I hope I asked that question. So anyway, if you don't know those things, you'll continue on in your life and be a slave. Let me ask the next question. I'm only going to answer three. I got to ask the second question. So whoever got a question, first one pops up, I'm going to answer that question. Let it be of substance. Let it be of not just self, but even maybe others can learn. Let's not be like, well, what's your best country? I won't answer those. All right, next question. Let's see. Put a question mark. If I don't see a question mark, I won't even know, family. I hope, man, you all are all doing well today. If not, it's time to rethink. It's time to re-engage. It's time to reassemble yourself because you've been assembled in a fashion that is probably not original. Which country? Somebody already asked that question. See, I'm gonna answer that question. Which country is the best country to go first as a first timer? My answer to you is seek the Most High. I'm gonna start leading people to the Most High because that's the best answer that I can give you. You know how many countries out here best? What's my best? I can't give you my best. What's best? I don't believe in best. The best country. I don't. What does that mean? If we really think, what does that mean? The best country. The best country. I don't even know anything about you. I don't know I don't know anything about you to even give an answer. I don't know your money status. I don't know whether or not you have a job or how long you're going to be. I don't know if you bring it. I don't know. There's so many of that, but ask the Most High. Next question. Corey says, how can I break this contract with the USA? Okay, what contract do you have? I'm not that person who's just going to answer a question and I don't have a lot of information. I don't understand your question totally. How do you break a contract with the US? And I'm not trying to be, facetious or, arrogant. Please, no, not by any means. Why don't you teach people the property investing in America so they can settle in Africa with income coming in? I have. I have. I can give that to you in 20 seconds. You take your money and you pay yourself 30%. You put that money aside. You don't use it for anything. I don't care if your mama, daddy, sister, brother died and they want money for the funeral. That's coming out of your 10% of the money that you're gonna use for uh, so-called emergencies. The 30% pay is for your freedom paper to break the contract, if you will, from America. You take the 30%, you respect your money because the Most High blessed you with a skill that people are paying you. You should have money set aside for your freedom papers, business opportunity. And you let it build to a place to where you can start in investing in something, business, buy a property or what have you. That's it. Why is Pan-African movement filled with drama and negativity? Gambia, they have nothing to do with Pan-Africanism. Just because people say Pan-Africanism doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Pan-Africanism is only based on one man's own view of what it is. Look at all the Pan-Africanists who stood alone. Look at them. They taught, they preached, but many of them stood alone. And even if they did have a following, if you will, how far did they get? Last question. I'm gonna get out of here. Last question. One more, family. So, and I hope you all tune in too. I'm gonna be doing my videos there while I'm in Asia. I'm gonna be trying to find where we are and see if we get some good stories too as well. And yeah, if anybody's from Ethiopia, Eritrea, please reach out to me. I need contacts so I can get into their scripture scrolls from the Ge'ez language. I don't want translation English. I want a straight up Ge'ez that has not been translated from English. We're gonna rip open the Bible. People got some of the silliest questions, boy. Okay, I know this is some Anon 124. Where are the slave ships? They were cargo ships. Now you answer that question. Where are the cargo ships at? You remember they were existed. Where are they? Where are the cargo ships? There are ignorance that people follow other people, boy. I know it's one of what's his name, boy, people, but that's all it is, you know. But you gotta answer that to open up people's minds. You know, it was called not having a dollar. I did a video of a town they don't use money. There are places around the world that don't use money. There are many villages in Africa that don't use money. They grow their own food. They have their own stock, and they can even sell it to even make money if they want. If there's stuff like this one village that you can go sell your food, and then they buy solar panels to have lights. All right, family, that was my last question. But I hope that each and every one of you all who came in learned something. Again, shout out to my family who are left there in the Western world, who's doing the best that they can. Many people are wanting to come over into the African land. Some people are wanting to visit, some are wanting to move, some wanting to invest. I've done all three, and I'm gonna be doing an insightful spiritual journey. I ain't gonna call it a tour, but it's definitely a journey for those who are interested. I'm looking at June, possibly June or July. Don't hold me to it, but send me an email. Go Black to Africa at gmail.com. If you're interested, only serious, I'll be doing vetting. And it's going to be for those who are really want to go on a spiritual journey. If you're wanting to look at animals at the safari, we're not going to go there. If you want to climb Kilimanjaro, we're not going to go up there. So this is more of going to be on a spiritual journey that we're going to have some great experiences, really being exposed to the locals and a certain way of life and observing and getting into nature and the ocean and, you know, doing some things like that. I'm not talking about hocus pocus stuff and chanting and burning, flames and singing kumbayas either. No, not talking about that. But I appreciate each and every one of you all. Peace and blessings. Thank you all for your prayers, who have prayed for me, my wife, our journeys around the world, as well as those who come in with your beautiful comments. Those out there, I think it was one that was sending love offerings, or I like to call it a gift of a heart of giving. Um, there again, appreciate all that you all do. Stay blessed, stay in the light, stay in the positive, especially if you're in the Western world. There's a spiritual attack on not just black folk, but as on the human people, and we have to overcome that, y'all. We have to overcome it, and I believe it's only getting worse, and only those who can hear to really remove themselves out of that situation, maybe can have be at a place that can be better for them and their families. If not, you know, hey, the good Lord always protects for those who follows. So with that, family, this is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa. I am out.